All right, let's talk about something that's on every fitness enthusiast's mind. You know protein is essential, right? But what if that high-protein diet you're so committed to for building muscle is actually, maybe, messing with your gut? Let's dive in and really separate fact from fiction.
So this is the big question, isn't it? You're trying to maximize your gains, you're putting in the work, but you definitely don't want to sabotage your overall health in the process. Well, the good news is, it turns out you might not have to choose between the two.
So we're going to kick things off with what I like to call the protein paradox. This is all about that hidden tension between fueling your muscles and, keeping your gut microbiome happy.
And you know what? I'm going to give you a little spoiler alert for everything we're about to cover. The problem isn't actually the protein itself. The real issue, the one that almost everybody misses, is what's missing from the rest of your plate.
To really get to the bottom of this, we need to play a detective for a minute. And our main clue comes from this really fascinating 2019 Korean study. It basically put the diets of three very, very different groups of men under a microscope. Okay, so when you first look at this, your eyes probably go straight to that protein column, right? I mean, look at that. 236 grams a day for the bodybuilders? That's huge! But that's not the real story here. The big clue? The thing that changes everything? It's hiding in plain sight, right over in that last column. And boom, there it is. Both the athletes, the bodybuilders, and the runners had shockingly low fiber intake. We're talking just 14 to 19 grams a day, when the recommendation is more like 25 to 30. That's not just a little low, that's way off. And that, right there, is the key to this whole puzzle. You don't even have to take my word for it. The researchers who did the study basically spelled it out for us. It's not the high protein on its own that's the problem. It's the combination of high protein with way too little fiber. That imbalance is the real villain here.
Okay, so why? Why on earth does a lack of fiber mess with your gains? Well, it all comes down to this really cool and absolutely crucial concept called the gut-muscle axis. Think of it like a direct biological highway connecting what's happening in your stomach to your ability to build muscle.
Let's break this down. It all starts in your gut. When your microbiome isn't happy, often from not enough fiber, the lining of your gut can become more permeable, what some people call leaky gut. This allows inflammatory compounds to leak out into your bloodstream, which then triggers this chronic, low-grade inflammation that affects your entire body. And yes, that includes your muscles. And that systemic inflammation, it is a massive, massive problem for anyone trying to build muscle. It creates a state with a pretty intimidating name, anabolic resistance. And it's basically the reason your hard work in the gym might just stop paying off.
So what in the world is anabolic resistance? Well, put really simply, it means your muscles just stop listening. They become less responsive to the two main signals for growth, eating protein and lifting weights. You can be chugging shakes, hitting new PRs, but your body just isn't getting the message. It's exactly like flooring the gas pedal in your car, but the engine just won't respond. All that effort for nothing.
So how do we fix this mess? We need a hero in our story, right? Well, that hero is your gut microbiome. If you feed it the right fuel, you can reverse this entire negative cycle. And this is where fiber finally gets its moment in the spotlight. See, when you eat fiber, it's not really for you. It's food for your good gut bacteria. They take that fiber, they ferment it, and they produce these incredibly powerful little compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs for short.
Think of SCFAs as the MVPs of your gut. They do two huge things. First, they're the main fuel source for the cells in your colon, keeping that gut wall strong and tight, no more leaks. And second, and this is the really critical part for us, they are potent anti-inflammatory agents. They directly fight back against that nasty systemic inflammation we were just talking about.
And the benefits just keep stacking up. SCFAs don't just reduce inflammation. They also improve your insulin sensitivity and directly help regulate your muscle metabolism. Basically, they are your #1 weapon for fighting off anabolic resistance and getting your muscle-building machinery back online.
Okay, that was a lot of science, I know. So let's bring it all back down to earth. What can you actually do about all this? Let's get into the action plan for building a smarter, gut-friendly, high-protein diet.
Rule number 1, and this might be the most important one, diversity is your absolute best friend. The American Gut Project found a super clear link. The more variety of plants in your diet, the more diverse and healthy your gut microbes are. So what's the magic number? Aim for 30 or more different types of plants each week. And we're not just talking broccoli. Think fruits, veggies, nuts, seeds, legumes, the whole shebang.
Second, you've got to manage your macros. A leading gut health researcher, Dr. Gabriel Fondaro, recommends that when your protein intake is high, you should try to keep dietary fat below 40% of your total calories. A diet that's extremely high in both protein and fat can be really tough on the gut, so it's all about finding that balance.
And third, be smart about where your protein is coming from. Since a really high intake of animal fat can sometimes harm beneficial bacteria, try to prioritize leaner meats and poultry. Or even better, start incorporating more plant-based proteins like lentils, beans, and tofu, which have the awesome bonus of bringing their own fiber to the party. It's a win-win.
So let's recap your gut health playbook. It's pretty simple. 1. Get enough fiber. A good rule of thumb is 12 to 15 grams for every 1,000 calories you eat. 2. Maximize that plant diversity. Shoot for 30+ different types a week. And 3. Balance your macros, keeping fat under that 40% mark. You nail these 3 rules, and you're golden.
So we'll just leave you with this final question. If your progress has stalled, if you feel like you've hit a wall even though you're doing everything right, could your gut be that missing link? It might just be time to look beyond the weights and the protein powder to unlock your true potential. Thanks for joining this explainer.